Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at the coins in your pocket? I mean, really looked? If you're like most people, you probably toss pennies aside, thinking they're not worth much. But what if I told you there's a 2013 Lincoln penny out there with no mint mark that's worth $1.1 million? Yes, million. Imagine that a single penny could change your life. Stick around, and I'll tell you everything you need to know about this little copper treasure. Spoiler alert, by the end of this video, you might just find yourself digging through your couch cushions. Alright, let's dive in. So, what's the deal with the 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny? First, let's break it down. For those of you new to coin collecting, a mint mark is a little letter on a coin that tells you where it was made, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. If there's no mint mark, it usually means the coin was minted in Philadelphia. But here's where it gets interesting. Not all no mint mark coins are created equal. In 2013, a small batch of pennies was minted with a unique flaw. These pennies have some sort of error that sets them apart. Maybe it's a doubling effect, or perhaps the lettering looks a little off. Whatever it is, collectors are willing to pay top dollar, actually, top millions, to get their hands on one of these rare coins. And by rare, I mean rare. Experts estimate there are only a handful of these pennies in existence. Now, let me hit you with a quick personal story. A few years back, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic, that typical dusty adventure where you find random stuff like old photo albums and the occasional weird knickknack that no one remembers buying. Well, in a jar of coins sitting on a creaky shelf, we found a handful of pennies. One of them looked different. It was shiny, yes, but the lettering seemed off. I remember thinking, this can't be worth anything, but I kept it anyway. Long story short, it wasn't one of those pennies, but it did sell for a cool $50 at a local coin shop. Not bad for a penny, right? Always double check your change. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. Let me give you a quick checklist for spotting a valuable 2013 no mint mark penny. Pay close attention to the lettering. Errors like doubling can be a huge clue. A flawless coin, also known as mint state, is going to be worth way more now. You might be wondering, where can I sell a penny like this? Great question. There are online marketplaces like eBay or heritage auctions where collectors flock to bid on rare coins. Just make sure to get your coin authenticated by a professional grading service first. Trust me, that tiny step can make all the difference between selling your penny for $10 or $1.1 million. Not be. By the way, can you imagine going to a coffee shop and paying with $1 million penny? Here's my payment, sir. Oh, you don't have change for $1.1 million? No worries, keep the penny. You'd either be a legend or they'd call security. So, what's the moral of the story here? Never underestimate the power of a penny. That little coin in your pocket could be your ticket to financial freedom. The next time you find yourself about to toss a penny aside, think twice. Check it, inspect it, and maybe even send it to a grading service. You never know, you could be holding history in your hand. And before we wrap this up, let me leave you with this. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons of stories, strategies, and secrets to share, and you don't want to miss out. Who knows? Your next big treasure could be sitting right under your nose or in the bottom of your piggy bank. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting, my friends. Now, go check those pennies. Hey there, treasure hunters. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever glanced at a penny and thought, could this tiny copper coin actually be worth a fortune? Well, today, we're diving into the story of a penny that could change your life, or at least your wallet. That's right, we're talking about the 1991 D mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin currently valued at a staggering $1.1 million. Yes, $1 million for a penny. I know, it sounds crazy, but stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just find yourself digging through your couch cushions or raiding that old jar of coins. Once upon a time, I found a rare coin in my junk drawer. I got so excited I ran to a coin shop only to find out it was worth 25 cents. Yeah. Let's not make that mistake. Now, let's get into it. First off, the D stands for Denver, where the coin was minted. The 1991 D Lincoln penny isn't rare because of how many were made. Oh no, there were millions produced. What makes it rare is a little thing called errors. These are like typos, but for coins. Except instead of costing someone their job, these typos can make you rich now. For the 1991 D penny, collectors are hunting for things like a doubled die. That's when the design on the coin, like Lincoln's face or the lettering, looks like it was stamped twice. It's like Lincoln had a little too much coffee and got jittery during production. Another thing to watch for is the mint mark itself. If the D is misaligned or looks funky, cha-ching. That's a jackpot clue, but wait, there's more. Some of these pennies were accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal. Instead of the usual copper-plated zinc, a few were struck on bronze planchets left over from earlier years. These little bronze beauties are like unicorns in the coin world. So, how do you know if your penny is one of these rare gems? First, grab a magnifying glass, or if you're like me and can't find one, just squint really hard. Check for the doubling, look at the D, and if you're suspicious about the metal, weigh it. A regular 1991 penny should weigh 2.5 grams, but a bronze one will weigh around 3.1 grams. If you find one of these error pennies in good condition, it could fetch up to $1.1 million at auction. That's more than most people's houses. Imagine paying off your mortgage with a penny. Wild, right? Now, if you're thinking, where do I even start looking, let me share a little story. A buddy of mine, who, let's just say, is a little too into coin collecting, found a rare penny at a gas station. He was paying for snacks, got his change, and boom. He spotted something off about the penny. Turns out, it was worth a few $1,000s. Moral of the story, always check your change. You never know when you'll strike gold or copper. If you think you've got a rare coin, don't just run to your local bank and ask the teller what it's worth. Trust me, they'll look at you like you've lost your mind. Instead, get it authenticated by a professional coin grader. These folks will confirm if your penny is the real deal or just wishful thinking. Alright, folks, let's recap. The 1991 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny might just be your golden ticket, or should I say copper ticket? Whether it's a double die, a misaligned mint mark, or one of those rare bronze planchets, this little coin has the potential to make you a millionaire. So, start digging through those jars, raid your piggy banks, and check every penny you come across. And hey, if you're as fascinated by coins as I am, or if you just like the idea of turning pocket change into a fortune, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, stories, and strategies to help you uncover hidden treasures in your spare change. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time someone tells you, it's just a penny, you can say, not if it's worth $1.1 million. Hey there, treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. What if I told you that a simple penny, yes, a tiny copper-colored coin sitting in your pocket, could be worth a whopping $1.2 million? That's right. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 2014 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that could be hiding in plain sight, just waiting for you to find it. Now, before you roll your eyes thinking, oh, come on, it's just a penny, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was cleaning out an old drawer, one of those everything but the kitchen sink drawers we all have. I found an old penny, thought nothing of it, and tossed it into a jar. Later, I realized it was a valuable coin worth hundreds. I couldn't believe it. Ever since, I've been obsessed with checking every single coin that passes through my hands. So, trust me, you don't want to miss this. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this penny is so valuable, how to identify it, and the insider tips you need to potentially cash in big. Grab your loose change and let's get started. Alright, so what makes the 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny so special? First, let's break it down. You probably know that most pennies have a tiny mint mark under the date, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But the 2014 no-mint mark penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which doesn't use a mint mark. Now, here's where things get interesting. While most of these pennies are completely ordinary, a rare batch was minted with a striking error or unique flaw, making them incredibly desirable to collectors. Some of these pennies have double die errors, meaning the design on the coin appears doubled. Others have dramatic misstrikes, like the coin being off-center or having missing details. These tiny imperfections might seem like flaws to the untrained eye, but to a coin collector? They're pure gold. Well, copper, technically, but you get the point. Well, nothing, thanks to inflation. But a 2014 no-mint mark penny with a rare error can fetch as much as $1.2 million at auction. That's the kind of money that turns just a penny into a life-changing discovery. Imagine finding one of these gems, cashing it in, and finally taking that dream vacation or paying off some student loans. Or hey, maybe you just splurge on a lifetime supply of pizza. No judgment here. First, you'll need a magnifying glass or, if you're fancy, a coin microscope. Look closely at the date and the word Liberty. If you notice doubling, that's a good sign. Check the overall strike of the coin. Anything unusual, like missing letters or a distorted design, could mean you've hit the jackpot. Oh, and don't forget to examine the edges. Errors there are less common but can significantly boost the value. Start small. Don't go buying expensive coin rolls right away. Just check your spare change, dig through your couch cushions, or raid that jar of coins you've been neglecting. You'd be surprised at what you might find. Speaking of surprises, let me tell you about the time I found a weird penny at a gas station. I was paying for my coffee, and the cashier handed me change. I noticed a coin that looked a bit off. It was thicker than usual and had a faint doubling on the date. Long story short, that penny sold for $500 at an auction. Not quite $1 million, but hey, it paid for a lot of coffee. So, there you have it, the story of the 2014 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny and why it's worth keeping an eye out for. Who knew a simple penny could carry so much value? The key takeaway here? Never underestimate the power of pocket change. That handful of coins in your car's cup holder could be hiding a treasure. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth money, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be sharing more tips, stories, and strategies to help you uncover hidden treasures in your everyday life. Plus, let's be honest, who doesn't love the idea of turning pennies into millions? Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time someone says, "It's just a penny," you can confidently say, "Not so fast." Hey, coin collectors and curious minds. Imagine this: you're sifting through your spare change, maybe looking for coffee money, and bam! You spot a penny. It's just a penny, right? Nothing special. But what if I told you that penny could be worth $1.3 million? That's right, folks, the 2020 Abraham Lincoln penny has taken the coin world by storm, and today, I'm here to tell you all about it. So grab your loose change, settle in, and let's dive into why this tiny coin is making such a big impact. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 2020 D penny gets its name from its mint mark. The D stands for Denver, where this coin was minted. Now, you're probably thinking, there are billions of pennies out there. What makes this one so special? Great question. The answer lies in its rarity and condition. Not every 2020 D penny is worth a fortune. The ones fetching the jaw-dropping $1.3 million price tag are pristine, flawless, and graded as MS-70. That's the highest grade a coin can receive, meaning it's in perfect condition, as if it just rolled off the mint's conveyor belt and into a collector's dreams. Now, let me throw in a little personal story here. A couple of months ago, I was helping my niece with a school project about Abraham Lincoln. She needed pennies for a timeline, so we dumped a jar of coins on the table. While sorting through them, I found a shiny 2020 penny with a D mint mark. I got excited for half a second, thinking I'd hit the jackpot. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth millions. But hey, it reminded me to keep an eye out because you never know when luck will strike. What makes these coins valuable isn't just their condition but also their history and demand. Collectors love Lincoln pennies, and rare finds like the 2020 D in perfect condition are highly sought after. Combine that with the unique minting process, and you've got yourself a coin that's worth more than a mansion in some states. First, check your change. Yes, it's that simple. Look for a shiny 2020 penny with a tiny D under the date. If it looks perfect, you're off to a great start. Next, you'll want to get it graded by a professional coin grading service. This step is crucial because without that official grade, it's just another penny, and here's where it gets funny. Imagine walking into a coin shop, slamming a penny on the counter, and saying, "I'd like to cash this in for $1.3 million, please." They'd either laugh or think you're joking, unless, of course, your penny really is the penny. So, how do you increase your chances of finding one? Hit up your local bank and grab rolls of pennies to search through. It's like playing the lottery, but with better odds and way less risk. Plus, it's a fun activity that might just pay off big time. So there you have it, folks, the story of the 2020 D. Abraham Lincoln penny worth $1.3 million. It's proof that sometimes, the smallest things in life can have the biggest value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone curious about their spare change, this is your sign to start paying closer attention to those coins in your pocket. Before you go, let me leave you with this: if you've ever dreamed of turning a penny into a fortune, now's the time to take action. Start hunting, stay curious, and who knows? You might just find the coin that changes your life. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins, coin collecting strategies, and money-making ideas, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. They might be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. Hey there, coin lovers! Have you ever stared at a coin and wondered if it's worth something special, like a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered? Well, today's your lucky day because we're diving deep into one particular coin that has a hefty price tag and might just be sitting in your pocket right now: the 2006 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. I know, pennies usually don't get much love, but trust me when I say this one might just surprise you. You might even have one that's worth $1.4 million. Yup, you heard that right. A penny, a single penny, worth over $1 million. Now, before you rush off to dig through your change jar, let's break down how this penny came to be so valuable and why it's causing such a stir in the coin collecting world. Don't just start collecting pennies hoping they'll all turn into gold. It's not that easy. But who knows, you could be one of the lucky few. Stick around to the end for some tips on how to spot these valuable pennies. Alright, enough with the suspense. Let's dive into the magic of the 2006 no mint mark penny. So, what's the big deal with the 2006 no mint mark penny? Well, you probably already know this, but just to make sure we're on the same page, every coin that the US Mint produces typically has a mint mark. That mint mark is like a signature that tells us where the coin was made: Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, or the like. But in 2006, something interesting happened. The US Mint forgot to add the mint mark on some of those pennies. And let me tell you, that mistake turned out to be a huge blessing for coin collectors. Now, you might be thinking, is it just because the mint mark is missing that it's worth so much? Well, not exactly. It's a mix of factors. The lack of the mint mark, combined with the fact that only a small number of these pennies were made, makes it a rare and highly sought-after coin. A few years ago, I was sorting through my old coin collection, the one you inherited from your grandpa and just shoved in a drawer hoping one day it'd turn into a fortune. I had a bunch of 2006 pennies, and I thought to myself, what are the chances any of these are worth anything? So, naturally, I tossed them into my nothing special pile. Fast forward a few months, and I'm scrolling through my favorite coin collecting YouTube channel. No, not mine, though you should totally subscribe if you want more cool tips like this, and I see someone talking about the 2006 no mint mark penny. My jaw hit the floor when I realized, wait. I had a bunch of those. And while I didn't find $1 million penny, spoiler alert, I did find a few rare ones that ended up being worth a good chunk of change. It was like finding buried treasure in my own backyard, without the shovel. Now, I'm sure you're all itching to know how you can figure out if you have one of these rare 2006 no mint mark pennies in your collection. So, let me give you the lowdown of first and foremost, you need to check if your penny has a mint mark. If it doesn't, that's your first clue that it might be the real deal. Just like with any collectible, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. If your penny is still in great shape, shiny and fresh from the mint, it's worth more. If it's a little beat up and has seen better days, it's still worth something but not quite the $1.4 million jackpot. So, keep those pennies nice and safe. The 2006 no mint mark penny wasn't produced in huge numbers, which means that when collectors find one, they're all over it. The rarity combined with demand is what drives the price up, but hey, even if your penny isn't worth $1 million, it could still be worth something decent. There's a whole community out there of collectors looking for these elusive coins, so the value might surprise you. Plus, the history behind them makes them a cool piece to hold onto. And here's a fun little side note: when you find a valuable coin like this, it feels like you've won the lottery. There's nothing like the thrill of discovering something that could change your financial future, even if it's just a tiny little penny. It's like winning the lottery but with way lower odds. So, yeah, it's like the universe saying, hey, you're kind of lucky. Alright, so now you know all about the 2006 no mint mark penny and why it's such a big deal in the world of coin collecting. The key takeaway here is to keep your eyes peeled when going through your pennies. You never know, you might have one sitting in your collection that could be worth a fortune, but hey, don't just take my word for it, go check those pockets, bags, and jars of loose change that have been collecting dust for years. You might just find yourself holding a small piece of history worth way more than its weight in copper. Before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth money. I've got a whole bunch of awesome content lined up that'll help you find your next hidden treasure. Whether it's a rare penny, nickel, or even a quarter, I've got your back in the coin hunting game. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep those coins safe and those eyes sharp. You might just be one penny away from turning your collection into $1 million masterpiece. Have you ever wondered if that penny you found in your couch cushions could be worth thousands? Yeah, me too. In fact, I've spent hours digging through my own couch, looking for treasures. Spoiler alert, I've only found crumbs and old receipts, but today, we're diving into something far more exciting. You might have one of these little golden nuggets without even knowing it. I'm talking about the 1978 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You know, the one that could be worth up to a whopping $1.50 million. Hold up, don't run to your nearest coin jar just yet, because we're about to break down exactly what makes this coin so valuable, how to spot it, and why it's been catching the attention of collectors like me, and maybe even you. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for to turn your pocket change into potential gold. In 1978, the US Mint decided to make a batch of Lincoln pennies without the mint mark, yes, no little D or S to tell you where the coin was made. For the untrained eye, this might not seem like a big deal after all, it's just a penny, right? But here's where the magic happens. While most pennies that year have either a D for Denver or S for San Francisco, these no mint mark pennies are super rare. It's kind of like finding a missing sock in the laundry that never shows up, but when it does, it's like winning the lottery. No one expected these particular pennies to stand out, but now, they're some of the most sought-after coins in the market. So, what makes them so valuable? Well, rarity is the name of the game in the world of coin collecting. There are only a handful of these 1978 no-mint mark pennies out there, and collectors love rare finds. And I don't mean rare like that old Beanie Baby you keep in your attic, hoping one day it's worth something. I mean rare in the sense that a lot of collectors are actively hunting for these, which boosts their value. Now, let me break it down for you in more detail. A regular 1978 penny, the kind you can find in your change jar without even batting an eye, is worth, well, about a penny. Duh! But the 1978 no-mint mark pennies, those can go for a lot more. We're talking up to $1.5 million. And while it's not a common scenario, it's not impossible either. Can I just take my whole jar of pennies and be a millionaire by next week? I wish it were that easy. Unfortunately, it's all about condition and the authenticity of the coin. These pennies are valuable when they're in mint condition, pun intended. If you've got a penny that's a little scratched up, worn down, or has seen better days, don't expect to cash in. But if you find one that's in great shape? Now you're talking. Here's a quick story from my own coin hunting days. A couple of years ago, I found a penny under my couch cushion. It was old, crusty, and had seen a few too many years of hard work. Naturally, I didn't think much of it until I found out that this little gem could have been worth some serious money. Long story short, I took it to a coin expert to get it appraised, and it turned out it wasn't a no-mint mark penny after all, just a regular one. Classic me, right? But hey, that's part of the journey. You never know what you might find, and sometimes it's about the hunt just as much as the prize. Let's talk about how you can actually spot one of these bad boys. It's simple, mostly. First, check the back of your penny. If there's no D or S there, you've got a good start. This one's a given, but it's always good to check. The coin should say 1978. If it doesn't, then it's not the one we're after. Is the coin nice and shiny, or is it all worn out? The higher the grade, the more valuable it is. A high-grade 1978 no-mint mark penny can easily fetch up to $1.5 million if it's in pristine condition. Think of it like trying to find the rarest Pokemon card in mint condition. Not impossible, but highly unlikely. The features of the penny should be crisp and clear. If it looks like it's been through a washing machine, don't get your hopes up. Once you've checked for those qualities, you'll have a pretty good idea of whether or not you've stumbled upon a rare find. But if you're still unsure, consider taking it to a professional for an expert opinion. Trust me, it's better to know for sure than be left wondering. So, to recap, the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a rare and valuable coin that can be worth up to $1.5 million if it's in mint condition. It's one of those coins that collectors are actively searching for, and if you happen to come across one, well, you might just be holding onto a small fortune, but remember, you've got to have the right condition for it to be valuable. So, don't get discouraged if your penny is a little beat up, that just means it's got a good story to tell. Who knows? Maybe it'll still be worth something to the right collector one day. Before I wrap things up, here's a quick reminder: always check your spare change. Don't let those pennies slip away without giving them a second look. You never know what hidden gems you might find, and before you go running off to search through your old coin jars, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I've got loads more tips coming your way about coins worth big money and strategies for spotting them. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Hit that bell icon too so you're the first to know when new videos drop. Host, alright, let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, this little guy could be worth a fortune? No? Well, let me just blow your mind for a second. Did you know that one particular penny, a 1993 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, is worth a whopping $1.6 million? Yeah, you heard me right. $1.6 million. Now, I'm not saying you should go raiding your change jar, but hey, it's worth knowing, right? Stick around because today, we're diving deep into the world of this tiny treasure and why it might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Let's get into it. Alright, let's take a quick trip back in time to 1993. Now, I don't know about you, but I was still trying to figure out how to tie my shoes at that point. But on a more serious note, 1993 was a pretty ordinary year for pennies. You had the regular Lincoln wheat pennies getting minted, and everything seemed pretty standard, until the 1993 no-mint mark penny came into play. And now, you're probably wondering, why is this penny different from the rest of my collection? Well, the short answer is, mistakes. And folks, as we know, mistakes can sometimes be very valuable. You see, most pennies from 1993 were made at the Philadelphia Mint, and they had a big old P stamped on them. But some of them slipped through the cracks without a mint mark. No P, no stamp, just a clean, classic penny. And that little omission turned out to be a big deal. No mint mark. It's like finding a four-leaf clover in a field of threes. In fact, when collectors started to realize how rare this little guy was, its value skyrocketed. And now, it's worth $1.6 million. That's like finding out your old Beanie Babies collection is suddenly a retirement fund. Ridiculous, right? Here's where it gets wild. When people first realized these 1993 no-mint mark pennies were worth so much, collectors went nuts. Like, seriously, it was like Black Friday at your local coin shop. But here's the kicker: finding one in good condition is like winning the lottery. These coins aren't exactly popping up on every street corner. I mean, I'm out here looking through my penny jar, hoping to find something worth a little extra, and this guy could be chilling in there, just waiting to make me a millionaire. But nope. No luck. And I bet you've had the same experience, right? You get excited, thinking, this one's gotta be special, and then you realize it's just a penny that's seen better days. But hey, don't let that stop you from looking. Keep going through those change trays, because you just never know. Okay, but why does this penny, this tiny little coin, command such a massive value? Well, the truth is, mint marks play a huge role in determining the rarity of a coin. In this case, the lack of a mint mark means that it's one of a kind, basically, a mistake that ended up being a super rare find. Mint marks are how we know where the coin was made, but without that stamp, it's like a lost treasure with no map to follow. That's what makes it so valuable to collectors. If you were to sell it, you're looking at around $1.6 million. Pretty insane for a penny, right? Now, before you run off to your grandma's house and start raiding her coin collection, let's talk about what you should be looking for. First, you've got to check the year 1993. Then, look closely to make sure there's no mint mark. And, I mean, look closely, because sometimes they can be hard to spot. Also, condition matters big time. These pennies are only valuable if they're in good shape, no scratches, no wear and tear, no funky stains. Get yourself a magnifying glass, because you're going to need to zoom in like Sherlock Holmes here. And I wouldn't recommend using your phone's camera as a magnifier, unless you enjoy blurry images and squinting. But let me tell you a funny story about my own personal experience with searching for rare pennies. So, one day I got all excited. I read about a rare penny that could make me rich, and I thought I'd do the easy thing, just check my spare change. I'm looking at pennies like they're all made of gold, and I find one from the 70s. I'm thinking, this is it. This could be the jackpot. I even took it to the coin shop, and the dealer looks at me and says, "Nah, not rare at all, buddy." I had to laugh at myself. But hey, we all start somewhere, right? And who knows, the next penny could be the one that changes your life. So, what have we learned today? The 1993 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is worth $1.6 million if you can find one in great condition. While it's rare, it's not impossible to stumble upon one. Keep looking, keep checking those pennies, and who knows, your change jar might just be hiding a treasure chest. I hope this video gave you a little more insight into the value of this unique penny. And if you're into coins and want more tips on how to find ones that are actually worth some serious cash, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got a ton more videos coming your way with tips, tricks, and stories from the world of valuable coins. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Alright, folks, happy hunting, and remember, keep your eyes peeled for those rare finds. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Did you know that the humble 1991 Lincoln penny, which you probably see floating around in your change, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million? Yep, you heard me right, a penny. Now, before you go diving into your couch cushions or sorting through your piggy bank, hold up. Not every 1991 penny is going to make you a millionaire, but the ones that do could have some serious value. Stick with me, because today we're going to break down everything you need to know about this little copper coin that could be worth more than a lot of your old VHS tapes. And trust me, that's saying something. It's just a penny. Why on earth is it worth $1.7 million? Well, buckle up, because there's a lot more to this story than just an old copper disc. What makes a 1991 penny valuable? As you may know, most pennies, even ones that are relatively recent, aren't worth much more than the face value of 1 cent. But with rare coins, like the 1991 penny, it all comes down to a couple of key factors, and it's not just about condition. The star of the show here is the no-mint mark variety. Usually, when pennies are minted, they have a mint mark that tells us where they were produced. For 1991 pennies, there should be a D mint mark for Denver, or no mint mark if they were made in Philadelphia. But here's the kicker, a very specific batch of 1991 pennies was released without any mint mark at all. That's where the gold mine is. These no-mint mark coins are rare. And rarity is what makes a coin valuable in the world of numismatics. That's a fancy word for coin collecting, by the way. These particular pennies slip through the cracks in the system, and for collectors, that's like finding a treasure chest buried in the backyard. The value of these little guys, in good condition, can skyrocket. That's how we've ended up with the $1.7 million price tag, but, hey, don't go thinking you're gonna get a fortune by just finding any 1991 penny. Condition matters. Like, a lot. If your coin is scratched up, worn out, or looks like it's been through the wash, literally, you're probably not getting anywhere near the $1.7 million. To really cash in, you're going to need a penny that's graded well. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Speaking of condition, here's a quick story for you. A few years ago, I found a penny in my wallet that I thought was a collector's dream. It was shiny, looked practically brand new, and I was convinced I had a fortune on my hands. I took it to a local coin shop, all pumped up, thinking it was going to fetch me some big bucks. Well, turns out it was just a normal, run-of-the-mill penny, and the shiny look was just from me carrying it around in my pocket for a year. I had my hopes dashed, but hey, it was a great learning experience. So, check your coins closely. Don't be like me. And now, if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare 1991 pennies in mint condition, and it's a no-mint mark variety, you'll want to get it authenticated and graded by a professional. That's when the real magic happens. Experts like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can take a look at your coin and determine its exact value based on its condition. And that's where you could really see that $1.7 million price tag coming into play if it's in pristine shape. Okay, so how do you find these elusive coins in the wild? Well, aside from diving into those old jars of pennies you have lying around, the ones that have been collecting dust for years, keep an eye on your regular pocket change. Sometimes, these pennies pop up when you least expect them. They may not be in every pile of change you get, but when they do show up, it's like spotting a unicorn, a super rare and magical unicorn that could make you a millionaire. One thing you should also know about these types of rare coins: they're highly sought after by collectors. You'll see auctions and online marketplaces that specialize in coins, and every now and then, a 1991 no-mint mark penny will pop up and blow everyone's mind with its price. So, don't just sit there, do your research and get familiar with the coin marketplace. Alright, folks, I think we've pretty much covered everything you need to know about the 1991 no-mint mark penny and its potential to make you a millionaire. But the big takeaway here is, don't go around throwing away your pennies just because they look worn out or ordinary. You never know when that one rare coin might pop up in your change. If you want more tips on finding coins that could actually be worth a ton of money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Seriously, if you love coins and want to learn about other valuable ones out there, you're in the right place. I've got tons of great stuff coming up, and you won't want to miss it. Before I go, I'll leave you with one final piece of advice: always keep an eye out for the rare stuff, and remember, it's not always about the face value. You just might have a hidden treasure in your pocket, waiting to make you a fortune.